Good morning again. Let's just start with the class. Today we'll cover up the next part, part A, that is your employability skills. We have finished up with subjective skills, right? So we'll move on to part A. Now, employability skill will cover up 10 marks in your final exams. And out of these 10 marks, we'll have 6 marks as MCQs, not MCQs, objective type questions, and 4 marks will be your subjective type questions, right? And this employability skill chapter is the almost similar with the one that we have done in 11th class also. We have the same chapters. Certain additions are there, rest all is same. So let's just start with that today. So basically, employability skills are the skills which we require for gaining employability in future. So let's just move on. Okay, so I'll share the book and I'll also share this book in the group today. This is a separate book. The book that we were using doesn't cover this part. So this is all about employability skills, and in this we have basically 5 units: communication skills, self-management, ICT skills, then entrepreneurships, and green skills. Right, the same units were there in 11th also. So let's start with the first one, communication skills. Okay, now here, first of all, we should know what is communication. Communication is a two-way process through which information or message is exchanged between individuals using certain language, symbols, signs, or behavior. Right? So it's a kind of process in which information or message is being shared. So it can be shared within one or two users or multiple users also, right? It can be like one person is talking to many people, or many people are giving response to one person. So it can be one to one or one to many also. And for communication we use either we talk. So for that we need to know certain languages, or we use symbols to pass on the information, or you write something, you can say, or certain signs are also used, and certain behavior is also utilized, right? So we have basically four parts of communication. One is speaking, listening, reading, and writing. These are the parts of the communication, and this help us to understand others, right? So it help us to communicate with others, and what people are saying to you, you can easily recognize with these four options, right? So to learn a language, one needs to develop these four skills, right? Listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Now, speaking कैसे help करता है? Speaking more than one language can help a person communicate well with people all around the world, right? If you know, for example, if you know only the regional language, आपको सिर्फ पंजाबी आती है, you cannot speak in English, you cannot speak in Hindi, or you cannot speak in some other languages, Spanish and all those, French and all. So you cannot communicate to the people who are living in that area. So if you know for more than one languages, then it's easy for you to communicate, right? So language is very important part for communication, and so this communication skill is very effective, very important when you want to interact with many users around the world. Okay, now this is the elements. These are the elements of communication. Elements means what are the things which are there in communication process, right? We have a sender. Sender is the one who sends a information, sends a message to somebody, right? and then whatever message or is sent, it is encoded. Encoded means it is sent in a form which can travel through a channel, right? For example, if you talk about computers, like if you're sending a message, sending an email to somebody, so whatever email you're sending, it has to be encoded into some form so that it can travel on internet, right? So this internet is the channel in that case. And then at the receiver end, the person who is about to get the मैसेज, देयर डी कोडिंग इज टू बी डन, मतलब वो जो भी मैसेज आया उसको एक रीडेबल फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट करना। तो ये जैसे फॉर एग्जांपल बाइनरी फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट हो रहा है, तो बाइनरी से बाद में उसको रीडेबल फॉर्म में कन्वर्ट करना, दैट प्रोसेस इज कॉल्ड एज डी कोडिंग, right? Then receiver reads the message, and then receiver will give a feedback to the sender, and that is again done in the same process. Encoding is done, channel is being used, and at the end decoding is used, right? So feedback is the answer or the reply for the message that was sent by the sender, right? So this is the whole process, and these are called as elements of communication. Now, in this chapter, we'll talk about all these elements one by one. First of all, what is active listening and how we can improve it. Effective communication involves skills that can be utilized to send messages that are clear, concise, and accurate. Right? We have done 7 C's in 11th. Right? The message that you're sending should be clear, should be concise, it should be contented. Right? So it should be accurate. Right? So let's try to understand what do you mean by this clear, concise, and accurate. Clear statement is the one which conveys the exact message, exact meaning. Clear in the sense कि जो भी आप message pass on कर रहे हो, it is thoroughly conveyed to the person whom you are sending it. ठीक है, कि exact message भेजना है, आपने बहुत ज़्यादा confusing message नहीं करना है, आप बहुत ज़्यादा या to the point नहीं है, वो बहुत ज़्यादा डिटेल में मैसेज भेज दिया, डिटेल नहीं भेजनी, important things should be mentioned, right? Now, there are some examples given here. Like these are two statements. He went to his manager and said, "Please allow me to reach office at 11 a.m. on Tuesday, 11 June 2019, as I have an appointment with the dentist." Second statement is, "Please allow me to reach late to the office on Tuesday, 11 June this, as I have an appointment with the dentist." Now, which message is more clear? The first one is more clear because it here the time and the day it is mentioned that at what time he'll reach office, right? In second time message, the time is not mentioned, so kitne baje wo office pahunchega, it's not mentioned. This message is not so clear as the first message. So similarly, so whenever you are passing on some message to somebody, kindly be very clear with the message that all the important information you want to pass on should be there in the message, right? Now, a concise statement is appropriately brief or to the point. Concise का मतलब है जो भी message आप pass on कर रहे हैं, it should be brief and to the point. It should not carry whole lot of story, right? You should only focus to the important points that you want to give. Right? Again, we have two messages, two examples, two statements. The manager replied, "All right, you may come late." And the manager replies, "All right, you may come late, but it is a matter of great concern that the most employees come late and you are also developing the same habit." अब यहाँ में इसमें से बेटर वाला कौन सा है? ये फर्स्ट वाला, क्योंकि ये कंसाइज है, टू द पॉइंट है, ठीक है? सो दिस द सेकेंड मैसेज मे लीड टू सर्टन कंफ्यूजन इन द माइंड ऑफ द पर्सन। जो जो एम्प्लॉई था उसके माइंड में कंफ्यूजन होगा, अभी मैं जाऊँ कि ना जाऊँ, ठीक है? उसने मुझे ग्रांट किया है लीव या नहीं किया है, right? So this, if you send a message in a detailed way, that message will always create certain troubles. So always be to the point and concise. The message that you're sending should be short and to the point. Then is an accurate statement is the one which is factual. Accurate मतलब जो factual है, that is, correctness can be verified. So if you are telling it is correct, then that correction you are telling, the correctness you are telling should be verified, it can be verified, it can be checked also, right? फैक्चुअल मतलब यही है कि जो आप स्टेटमेंट कन्वे कर रहे हो वो वो करेक्ट है, और उसको किसी ने वेरीफाई करना तो वेरीफाई भी कर सकते हैं, right? Again, some examples are given. She informed the office that 50% of the books given for binding have been completed. And second is, she informed the office that most of the books given for binding has been completed. अब यहाँ पे most of the books है, यहाँ पे 50% है, so this is more accurate, right? If anybody want to check, that person can easily check कि 50%, अगर 100 books आई हैं तो 50 books हो गई हैं, right? So this is more accurate. The second one is not so accurate, so even if you want to check, you cannot find out कि भी कितनी हो गई, right? So this, though you whatever message you are sending should be accurate, and it should be factual also, right? So so thus it is important to ensure that your communication is clear, concise, and accurate, right? As you know that lack of communication skills can result in confusion, frustration, wasted effort, and missed opportunities, right? So that's all about this first part, that is active listening. Now we'll talk about what kind of listening skills are required. Every effective conversation starts with listening. So, see, listening skill is very important, because when you tend to listen to somebody, then you get the exact message which the person want to convey to you. It's one of the most important skill required, right? So it is important to learn to give undivided attention to a person. So undivided attention means you are listening to somebody, but your mind is somewhere else, right? Such kind of things should not happen, right? Now, given below are some of the reasons why listening attentively is important. We listen to obtain information. When we listen to somebody, we want to get some information from that person. And all we listen to understand. We want to understand what the person is about to say and what he's saying, right? Then it is we listen to enjoy. So if you are listening to something which makes you happy, that is also one part. Or we listen to learn, or we listen to build and maintain relationship, or resolve the conflicts between people. So ability to listen attentively. So without the ability of this listening attentively, message cannot be easily understood. So if you're not listening attentively, then whatever message a person is giving to the receiver, that message will not be thoroughly understood by the person, right? Like if I'm giving you a lecture right now, I'm giving you some information, and if you people are not attentive, then you will not be able to understand what I want to convey, right? So the person can become easily frustrated and irritated. So I can be frustrated with on you if you're not listening. Okay. Chalo. Active listening. Next part. How this listening or active listening can be easily handled. How you should be attentive. What all things should be done while listening to somebody. There are various factors. First is eye contact. It's a form of body language, right? So when you have eye to eye contact, then the listener and the receiver both will understand that the communication is being done properly, right? So if you have eye to eye contact, that means the sender will also come to know that this person is listening to me. So it's very important in communication, right? So always maintain eye to eye contact with the person you're talking to. Yes. If you avoid eye contact, that means that you do not want to listen to that person. Gestures, this indicates the speakers if you are listening or not, right? Gestures means, again, it's a part of your body language. It's like keeping your hand or feet still while talking to somebody, or if your hands and feet are moving, so this indicates that your mind is somewhere else. Fine. So always keep your hand and feet still while talking to someone, right? You should be still. Avoid distracting. So you need to identify the things that are distracting you. So you need to know whatever things can distract you from the communication part, right? So you should remove such kind of distraction when you're listening to someone, right? For example, reducing the ringtone of your mobile phone or switching it off while attending a meeting or listening to someone, right? So if you're attending a meeting or you're listening to someone, and while doing that, you should switch off your mobile phone, or it should be on silent mode, so that in case there's a call, you and the other person should not be distracted. Avoid glancing at the wristwatch. That is also distraction. Then is giving feedback, and a feedback can be positive, negative, both. Uh, but in both the cases, one need to be polite. This is more important. So the person whom the feedback is being given is not hurt or offended. So, so whenever you're giving a feedback, even if you're negative, then you should not hurt somebody, right? Be polite in giving the answers, right? Stages of active listening. What are the stages? Receiving is listening attentively. Understanding is informed agreement about something or someone. So understanding means you are grasping whatever the person is telling you to you. Remembering refers to retrieval or recall of some information from the past. पुरानी किसी बात को recall करना, that is remembering. Evaluating, judging the value, judging the quality, importance, right? So responding is about saying or doing something as a response to someone, right? If you're giving some response to somebody, so that is responding. So these are the five things, stages of active listening. Now, how do we ensure the active listening? Respect is the acronym which is listed here. R for remove, E for eye contact, S for show, P for pay. Likewise, so respect, R remove all distractions, E maintain eye contacts, S show that you are listening attentively, right? Right, the speaker's gestures you are getting. Pay attention and focus on the listening. E for empathize and feel the emotions of the speaker. The person who is telling you something, you should feel the emotions, what he is actually feeling and experiencing. C for clarify doubts. If you have questions, you must ask. T, tune yourself to the timing of the speakers, right? So you should not say, okay, bhai, wait a minute, I want to do this and that, right? So always wait for the speaker to finish and then respond. So this respect is the um, way to give this active listening. Okay, now this part is overcoming barriers to active listening. How will you can barriers होते हैं, hindrances, रुकावटें. So how can you move, and how can you handle certain barriers while active listening? Preoccupied factor is that being preoccupied. When preoccupied, you may not be listening to a person carefully. अगर आप पहले से बिजी हो, इफ यू आर busy with some work, if you're doing something, and that time a person comes and communicate to you people, then if you're preoccupied, you're already busy, then you will not be able to uh, get the message from that person. Now, how to overcome this? Do not let emotions take over your mind. Keep away phones and digital devices. So if you want to listen to that person, so whatever you are doing, like if you are listening to music, let's say, so you should switch off your phone. Digital devices should be kept on a side, right? And it should be actively listening to that person. Then barriers में noise और visual distraction भी आते हैं. You may not be able to hear the other persons clearly in a noisy environment. Like if you're walking on the road and you're talking to somebody on phone, तो road पे बहुत सारा शोर होता है. So that can be one kind of barrier in communication, right? So in such case, you should create an conductive environment to avoid misinterception and distraction. You should move away from that noise. You should sit at a place where noise is not there, right? Then past experiences and mindset. कई बार होता है कि you are talking to somebody, the person you are talking to, तो उससे आपका past experience अच्छा नहीं है, ठीक है, तो आपके mindset बन जाता है भी यार ये बंदा तो हमेशा नेगेटिव ही बोलेगा मेरे लिए, right? So such kind of things should be avoided. Right? So avoid developing biases and be objective in your approach. Right? Be objective means you should be concentrating on the main important point that person is telling to you people. You should not concentrate on that person itself. तो person अगर पहले कहीं आपका experience उनके साथ अच्छा नहीं है, but he or she wants to convey you very important thing, so you should concentrate on that important thing, not on that person. Then personal factors, your personal feelings may affect your listening. For example, if your pronunciation is हाँ, preconceptions about other, ये भी वही लगभग वही point है. If you have preconceptions of other people, if you are कि you have some concept that ये person जो है अच्छा नहीं है या बुरा ना है, so ऐसे factors को हमें, we should not allow that person to um, you should not allow yourself to stop that person, right? So allow other persons to finish speaking and then respond. So this should be followed. Then we have certain activities. Now these activities are group activities. We cannot do it here. Some multiple, these kind of questions are asked in the exams, right? You'll get 6 multiple choice questions, not multiple. It could be objective type basically. MCQ is one part of it. So ऐसे questions आपके generally exams में आते हैं, right? Which of the following can be a barrier? Noisy environment is a barrier. Not maintaining eye contact, not being attentive, and all of these. Right? All of these is the answer. Which of the following is not a stage of active listening? Receiving, understanding, non-responding, evaluating. Right? So इसमें non-responding नहीं है, बाकी सारा है. Characteristics of an ideal message: clear, concise, accurate. All of these. It's all of these. Fine. Now, see, such kind of questions can also come. Write down a situation you faced at the school wherein you overcome a barrier and then practice active listening. So you have to write something where you removed a barrier and you practiced some kind of active listening, right? Let's moving on to next part, which is parts of speech. Right now, certain part of these we must have covered up in English, your English lectures also. Parts of speech में है कि when we speak or write, we use sentences to express ourselves, and sentences are group of words, right? And they always convey certain meaning and thought and action, right? So if your group of words are not making certain complete sense, such group of words are called as phrases. Right? Raju goes is a phrase. Raju goes to school is a sentence. Right? All sentences starts with a capital letter, ends with a full stop, question mark or exclamation mark. Right? Like this. Do you work on your project? Question mark. This is complete sentence, full stop and exclamation. Then is using capitals. We know that all sentences begin with a capital letter, right? And it is easy to know what to capitalize if you remember the acronym MINT. ये मिंट acronym याद होगा, ये rules है, right? मिंट में M for months, I for I only, N for names, T for titles, and S for starting letter of the sentence. तो इनको आपने कैपिटल करना है. Capitalize the first letter of the names of all the months, right? Capitalize the I whenever you're using. Capitalize the name of the people, place, rivers, ocean, sea, mountain, islands, days, etc. Capitalize the first letter in the title used before people's name, right? So title जो है जैसे डॉक्टर है, मिस्टर है, तो उसका फर्स्ट लेटर कैपिटल होना चाहिए. Starting letter of the sentence should be capital. So this rule you must know. Mint's rule is a rule, right? Punctuation marks. There are 15 basic punctuation marks in sign used in English, which include your full stop, comma, question mark, exclamation sign, apostrophe, colon, semicolon, dash, hyphen, parenthesis, question mark, quotation marks, brackets, and all those things. Uh, इनके यूज अलग अलग हैं. जैसे full stop, it shows the end of the sentence, right? And or it is also used at the end of the short forms of long words, like professor लिखना है तो prof लिख के पीछे full stop लगाते हैं, right? Comma is used to indicate a pause in the sentence, like after the waiter gives me the menu, I ordered the food. यहाँ पे pause देना था तो comma लगाया. Or it is also used to separate items while listing, like I bought apples, comma, orange and grapes. Question marks, we all know that it comes at the end of the question, and we use exclamation mark at the end of the word and sentences to indicate strong feeling. Right? Strong feeling means like if you are surprised to see something, and the sentence, such sentences ends with a exclamation mark. Shock, anger, such kind of feelings if you have, and you want to express those feelings in the form of sentences, and at the end of the sentences you have to put exclamation mark. Apostrophe is followed. We use apostrophe by an S to show something belonging to that person. That person, right? Like this is Divya's desk, right? So this means that desk belongs to Divya. तो apostrophe S का use यहाँ पे ये है कि it belongs to, the item belongs to somebody, right? And we also use apostrophe to um, in the shortened form of certain words, right? Let's say let's go and let us go, both are same. In short, if you want to write, we can write let's go. Isn't he? Isn't means is not, right? Basic parts of speech. You might have covered this. Nouns क्या होते हैं, pronouns क्या है, adjective, verbs, adverbs. So these are all given here. Nouns are the words which refers to person, place, animal, thing, or idea. They're also called as naming words. Pronouns which are used in place of noun, like I, she, he, you, they, it, etc. Adjectives which describes the words, right? What kind of word it is. Let's say long, short, blue, sharp, loud, etc. Right? Let's say she has written a long letter. What kind of letter it is? It is long. Long is adjective over here. Verb, that they are action words which show certain actions. right? Rima wrote a letter. Wrote word is the verb here. Adverb is that adds the meaning to the verb, right? Like she wrote a letter. She wrote a letter quickly. So this quickly word is adverb. Okay. Okay. Anyhow, go through these things. These are all basic English things that you have done in English also in your English classes. You might have done this, right? And some other part of speeches are articles, conjunctions, prepositions, and interjections. You might have done all these things in English, right? So supporting, these are supporting parts of speeches. Supporting means they are additional part of speeches, like articles, like a and the. These are the three articles which are used, and all of them have different meaning, different use. So an is used wherever we have a vowel sound, right? Remember, an is used before the vowel sound, not the vowel word. So ए ई आई ओ यू की साउंड जहाँ पे है वहाँ पे हम एन लगाते हैं, ठीक है? Basically this is not a e I o u. These are the sounds a e o u, right? And a is used before noun starting with a consonant. Consonant are all the alphabets except your vowel sounds. vowels को छोड़ के जो बाकी हैं सब consonants हैं, तो वहाँ पे a लगाएंगे. The is for use for a specific word or a particular word, ठीक है? Like I have an I have a table. यहाँ पे a table लगा because table is generally consonant, right? Table starts with T, which is consonant. And if I say I have a table, I have the table lying in the corner. So here the table we are talking about is that particular table which is there in the corner. So it's a particular table. So with there we use the, right? Conjunctions are the words that join two noun phrases sentences. दो नाउन्स, दो फ्रेजेस या दो सेंटेंसेस को जोड़ने के लिए हम कंजंक्शन यूज करते हैं. एंड, और, एंड, बट. दीज आर द थ्री कंजंक्शंस. Prepositions connect one word with another to show the relationship between them, right? जैसे where है, when है, how है, right? On, at, under, in. So this basically joins to one word with some other part of group of words. But the important thing is the difference between these two is that prepositions always show relationship between the two parts, right? So जैसे where हो गया, the cat is on the roof. On is a preposition here which indicates where that cat is sitting. On मतलब roof के ऊपर, right? तो कंजंक्शन सिर्फ जोड़ते हैं, prepositions आपको relationship भी बताते हैं. And interjections are the words which express strong emotions, right? जैसे happiness है, surprise है, wow, oh, oh not, thanks, help. Such some words are interjections. Fine. So kindly practice this. I don't think I have to give you thorough practice on this. These are all things you have learned in your previous classes. So these are some of the exercises which you can do. Right? Simple exercises. This boy is running. So the dash boy is running. Girls are skipping. Right? Now, this is all basic grammar. Fine. So next session is about writing sentences. How do we write sentence? Sentence is a group of words which convey certain proper meaning. And we have two kind of sentences. One is simple sentence, which has only one subject and one predicate. Right? Subject क्या होता है जो main part है sentence का, which is actually doing the action, उसको हम subject बोलते हैं. And the rest of the part is predicate. And complex sentences, complex is the one in which consists two or more coordinate clauses, and they are always joined by conjunctions, right? Subject is the person or thing that does the action. Verb describes the action. Object is the person or thing that receives the action, right? जैसे निशा sells a laptop. तो यहाँ निशा यहाँ पे subject है, sells यहाँ पे verb है, and laptop is the object here, right? I wrote a letter. I is subject, wrote is the verb, a letter is the object. Now the objects can be further divided into two categories: direct and indirect. Direct objects are the one which directly acts on by action words. हाँ जी बेटा प्रॉब्लम, any doubt?